Okay. Well, good afternoon or good morning, depending on where in the world you might be joining us from today. But we're just happy that you are joining us. So, my name is Kevin Mahan. I am the Vice President of Sales for Jensen Dental, and today I am joined by Jack Marrano, CDT, who happens to reside in North Carolina, manages and runs the Signature Dental Laboratory for Absolute Dental Ceramics. So good afternoon, Jack. Great to see you.
Hey, how's it going, Kevin?
It's going great, pal. Absolutely. I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to chat about some education that you're doing in Charleston, South Carolina, at a brand new educational facility called the Mod Institute. And if I'm not mistaken, the Mod Institute stands for Modernized Optimized Dentistry. And
Correct.
I'll pull this picture up here, but I think you're doing some pretty amazing things there. And I thought it would be fun to share with our audience today on Facebook Live some of the things you are doing at this brand new educational facility.
Yeah, thanks so much. Mod is kind of the founder's vision, Dr. Wally Renee and Dr. Mike DeFee's vision for the ultimate education center that concentrates completely on digital. And what can I say? It's in Charleston. It's one of my
Mhm.
favorite places in the world. If you haven't been to Charleston, it's an absolute must. Me and my family like to go as much as possible, but Mod, there's so much to it if I was to explain it. So, it not only is it world-class education in a world-class city with world-class instructors, but it's really more than that. It's when you go to Mod, you never leave Mod. Okay, so now you've become part of this family and part of this network. And it's really an incredible experience, and it's kind of built and geared that way by
Mhm.
design. So it's brilliant what they've put together, and I'm honored. Really honored from the bottom of my heart to have the opportunity to be a part of it.
In December, I happened to go to Charleston for the open house at
Right.
Mod, and I used to be the sales rep for Jensen I won't tell you how many years ago for in the South in Charleston. And I haven't been back in a long time. I didn't even recognize the city itself. It's grown and adapted, and it's really it always has been a special place, but it certainly still is. And I was really enamored with the passion, right, that Dr. Renee has, that you
Yep.
have, that all of the members of Mod have for this vision in creating a new facility. And I'm excited about that passion. And I know that you actually happened to do your first course, if I'm not mistaken. You did it last month,
Hmm.
and you've got another one coming up. So I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about that. And Jack, when I'm on social media or I'm looking at teeth, which being in dental we all do a lot, um, I always recognize your work. It's very unique. Yeah, I've got a picture of it here, right, that probably everybody on Facebook can see. It stands out. So when I'm scrolling through my feed, I see that and I go, oh, that's Jack's work. What is it about what you do that makes it look so unique?
Uh, and I kind of talk about this. I've been doing it a lot lately because it's absolutely true. But I kind of open up Mod this way and kind of tell a little bit about my story, and it's where I'm at least personally and professionally, is this is my life's work. It's what I've kind of dedicated my entire career to, and my passion has been contour and surface texture and anatomy. And through those years, and a lot of failure too, which I really embrace, I've kind of, come up with a systematic approach, and that kind of reflects in the work. What's nice about it that I've always found is the way that I do it, which provides that signature look. I've always been able to kind of easily teach it. Um, so that's been a benefit to me and a benefit to the people that I spend time with.
While you're mentioning that, I figured I'd lay out the objectives of your 2-day course, so that anybody that might be interested in attending one coming up, can get a better understanding of what it is that you cover.
Right.
So yeah, why don't you walk us through that? Why don't you take
Okay.
a minute and
Well,
walk?
and I'd like to start off, and I've said this for a long time. I'm very simple in my approach to all things. I don't overcomplicate it. That's all part of what ends up being the look that you kind of mentioned. And I believe this in all my heart. If I'm teaching you something on a Friday or Saturday, you should absolutely be able to go back to the laboratory and do it on Monday. If that isn't able to happen, then I, as myself as an educator, have failed, and I've done more of what would like a trophy show. So that's always super important to me. Everybody has to be able to do it, and they do. We're at a point now with MiYO plays a huge role in that, and to where I have the ability for everybody. I tell everybody, by the time we get done, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between mine and yours. And most people always say, yeah, right. And I say, no, I
I
really don't
would
do
too.
anything special. And then after we do it, they're like, wow, that actually came out really good.
Wow.
So we'll dive into, shape and contour. I've spent my whole life on shape and contour. As an early technician, early on, I tell the story all the time. And it really became, for me, it became an obsession. And really, I just was hooked on it. I couldn't get enough of it. And then, from that, how I went ahead and found ways to create that surface texture and anatomy, and then make it repeatable. So
Mhm.
it's easy to be great once. Everybody can be great once, but to be great all of the time is something else. And that's something that I had to learn. And it's, for me, it was difficult. And I like to be able to show everybody how I kind of did it. So like I said, in this block, is my life's work. And I share it with everybody. Mastering green stage zirconia, super important part of what we do every day now. I do all of my work in green stage, and everything that we'll teach, I do a lot of hybrids, and everybody knows that, but you can apply everything that you'll learn to all of your restorations. So it shouldn't just be hybrids. It could be a single central. It could be a 6 through 11 cosmetic case. All of the basis and foundation to all the techniques can be applied.
Hmm.
And then, pink gingival. MiYO changed my life. I always tell everybody, in back then, when I started doing gingival ceramics, there was very few technicians that did gingival ceramics, and there was very few clinicians that restored those type of cases, hybrid cases, full mouth rehabilitations.
Right.
Uh, I was very honored and blessed to be able to work with Dr. Carl Misch. So these were the cases we did, but it was a niche. Now, today, it's commonplace. It's in every laboratory, in every clinician's hands. Um, there was very few technicians that did it and did it exceptionally well, but they didn't teach it back then. And the reason why was because it was so hard. Now with MiYO, it's something where I can teach it, and that person can get outstanding results straight away.
Mm.
And it's been just incredible. I mean, it's changed everything for me. And we'll go through and do, a case similar to this example you have here. We'll
Okay.
go through, yeah, we'll go through shape and contour and green state, anterior, posterior, and then going ahead and sintering them. The next day we'll come back, and it's a full day of just MiYO. So the first day, we're going to work on contour and surface texture and anatomy. Um, and I'll show lots of illustrations of how we'll go through it. We'll do it together. It's very
Okay.
important. And then the next day, we just MiYO everything. Um,
I like that. We
yeah, and
MiYO
it's
everything.
we MiYO everything. And another thing about mod and Dr. Renee, and it's throughout all of the faculty at mod. It's through the founders, and it's so important, and I can't stress it. And it's a topic very close to my heart. is there is no egos. There's not even egos dropped at the door. There is no egos. I hate egos. I hate arrogance. If anything, I'll be the first one to tell you I don't do anything special or think what I do is special. And that provides, egos aren't conducive to a learning environment,
Right.
and they're kind of ugly. They don't exist at Mod. It's a free, open forum with no judgment where everybody learns from each other, and we're our own best resource in the industry.
Mm.
And when you get rid of all the barriers and you get rid of the egos and you get rid of the arrogance, and we come together as an industry, a group of people that are passionate about what they do, it's amazing at what happens. And that's what Mod is. So,
I think, and you didn't plan that, but that's kind of a perfect segue. I took some of the pictures that you had taken, that folks had taken at the last course, and I've kind of just put a little collage together. And I think you can see the collaboration that's taking place between, instructor and attendee. And I love that picture at the end. I think if there were egos there, we probably wouldn't see some of the fun it looks like you're having in these pictures. But looks like that last course. And that was your first one.
that was the first one. That was the first one in the Institute, which was pretty exciting. So, I mean, it was, and you got to see it. Everything is world class. Not only the setting. So, everybody, a lot of the people you see in the picture, you just don't come for the course. Spouses are encouraged to come, families encouraged to come because it's in Charleston, because it's a destination city. Don't just come for the course and then run and go catch a flight and take off. Stay in the city and enjoy it while you're there. And you could see all of us there. We do things like art galleries and wine, and they have yacht tours of the harbor. And that's where I said you never leave it. Once you go and once you come to Mod, you're always part of Mod, right? And the network, the group of people that attended that very first course, I'm still in communication with today. And I learned things. I could tell you, I learned things from them while they were there, and hopefully they learned things from me. And we'll do a champagne toast. It's just a great energy, and yeah, it's amazing.
Looks like it. And I think, I think we probably got a variety of dental professionals listening to this, or that will listen to it. Some on the clinical side, some on the laboratory side. I think,
Right.
And I know we maybe didn't plan on talking about that, but we did discuss the blurred line now of that, because technology is changing so quickly and roles are changing so quickly, materials. Here we see Dr. Wally Renee and you.
Right.
Looks like you guys went to the same barber in Charleston there, maybe. But I know he's a good friend of yours and an amazing guy with an amazing vision. And he's not alone there at Mod. But it's a welcoming environment. I felt that when I was there. So
Right.
whether you're a clinician that might be interested in learning more about these types of things, or a technician, how do you deal with different levels of experience? I think that's probably natural.
Yeah. That's part of just being an instructor. You have to be able to work with everybody's level of experience, and you have to present the material and the information so that everybody's able to do it. I always tell everybody has to be able to complete the course, and they do. And so, don't be afraid. A lot of times I'll talk to people or meet people, and, I've been in education for a while, that'll say, "No, I'm not ready to come to your course," or "I'm not advanced enough to come to the course." And that's absolutely not true. Anybody at any skill level can come. I want to make the joke of one of the attendees, and I thought this was absolutely fascinating. So if anybody has any reservations about, I'm not good enough to come, or I'm not advanced, that's absolutely not true. and one of the attendees this last time was a local oral surgeon that we actually work for. We actually work for that oral surgeon. He came to the course, and I got to admit, and Dr. Renee joked and said it was those oral surgery steady hands, but his was phenomenal.
Really?
It was absolutely phenomenal, and he's never touched green stage zirconia. He's never touched, ceramics. And I asked him, I said, why did you want to come, to the course? It was really important to him, and everybody at the lab was excited that he was there. And he said, because I know I work with you guys, and we do these, huge full mouth rehabilitations, and I see the final, delivery of the restorations, and it's unbelievable. He's like, and I know you guys worked hard. He's like, but I just wanted to be able to experience it myself. He's like, and what this gave me was, he's like, I completely respected you, always have, held you in the highest regard. I got to tell you that I respect you and hold you in such higher of a regard now that I've actually done it and experienced it myself, which was important to me. He's like, and I'll pass that on to my team. Hey, do you know how much the laboratory puts into one of these restorations? And it was great for him, because he said, I got to do it with my own hands and feel it and see it. He's like, and my appreciation for it has grown even more than it ever has.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of an oral surgeon going to a MiYO course before. Maybe you're.
And his was phenomenal.
Wow, and you know what I think, and I know we're drawing short on time, and I want to make sure we share with our friends the next upcoming course. But one of the things is, what you see is what you get with MiYO, and
Right.
because of that, and because you can put so much characterization in it before you fire it and get it the way you want it, I think you're almost seeing into the future, because you know that when you fire it, it's going to look the way it does wet.
Right.
And that's got to be a confidence builder for somebody that's maybe never done that type of thing before.
Sure.
Yeah, that's cool. So, and I know the education you're providing isn't the only education. So we encourage you to go to themodinstitute.com, because there are all sorts of different types of education offered there. I think it's a pretty broad spectrum of topics. But your next course is in May. It's May 20th to the 21st. So plenty of time for folks that are interested in learning more about how to prepare zirconia structures and lithium disilicate structures, and full contour and characterize them the way that you do. They could go to the Mod Institute. You can learn more about that education, learn more about you, and even reserve that seat for that upcoming education. So is there anything else you'd like our audience to know about what you're going to be doing?
No, I mean, I think we covered it. And again, I really encourage everybody to come down, and it's, be part of the family. Come down, see me, let's spend some time together. I promise a great time. And I promise you that you'll be able to go back and do it. And that's very important to me. So I hope to see everybody there. It's May 20th. Come in.
I know it's still a little ways away, but it'll be here before we know it. And I think, so many people are interested in, and they're hungry for MiYO education, Jack, right? They and now we're on a new horizon, right? We're looking good with COVID and everything. People want to get out. I mean, what better place to go in May than to Charleston and spend a couple of days with you? So encourage you all to check that out. And Jack, thanks for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, everyone.
You're a busy guy. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone.
Take care. See ya.